Hello everyone and welcome to a little tutorial for ISboxer and Finders Keepers. First I'll start out with ISboxer since I've had a lot of requests on how to make this work with Diablo. When you've installed everything from ISboxer when you bought the program or started the trial, you will basically get this screen right here. The first thing you want to do is find your inner space on the desktop. You want to launch this one. It will then be down here. Basically what you want to do in here is go to configuration and you will start in this menu right here. You want to go into FPS limiter. These will both be checked and you will want to uncheck both of these. This is basically just an FPS limiter, and if you want to use this I recommend using the one in game or on ISboxer. So uncheck these two, and if you do not already have the game, you can go into game configuration and pick Diablo 3 and make a profile for it called skip launcher if it's not already there. This is basically the extra parameter that you need to add to it. /launch or -launch. Everything else, do not touch any of it. This is the most important one. When you've done with this, we will go back to ISboxer here. The easiest way to set up your first team is by going into wizards and click the quick setup wizard. In here it will prompt you to choose the game of your choice, and today we're playing Diablo 3. First of all, we'll have to add some characters to the screen. Here you have to decide if you want to play 1, 2, 3 or 4 characters. We will just make a few made up ones here. The important thing here is to go down to inner space, launch, game and game profile. Here we will pick Diablo 3, and if you didn't have the skip launch here in inner space already, you should have made it so that you can click it here. This will make the launching of the game much more smooth, and you will be able to skip the actual launch of the game. First we will add this character to the team. Right, we have one character. We will add one more. Add one more. All with the same profiles. Diablo 3, skip launcher. Okay. We will have to pick a name for our team. We'll call this one test. Now comes a little interesting part here. Many people have different ways of setting up their windows. And ISboxer serves a lot of different ones. I would recommend going with one where you can see your taskbar down here. So always pick a window avoiding taskbar so you can easily enter whatever you need to enter on the taskbar. This one could be good for some people. The one I use personally is let me see, this one right here. Stacked full screen on display number 1 with no swapping and avoid the taskbar. That means that all the windows are actually stacked on one screen. I have my second screen right here with all my Twitch, Winamp and all that stuff. Basically you don't have to touch any of this, so when you're done here, just click the next. This is when we have to decide what kind of CPU rotation we want to use. Since I have a really decent CPU with a lot of threads on it, since I use hyper threading, I basically just go with the select all with every window. You could experiment with this. With my old CPU I ran with no strategy and I set the cost myself, and I'll show you in 1 second how to do this. So that is completely up to you how you want to do this. But we'll go with the one that it tells us to do right here. And we click next. Now we have to set up a few of our hotkeys before we actually finish with making our team. And this is where some people just click, finish, let's get on with it. But no, you gotta read this. The important one here is toggle broadcasting mode. When I click F4 on my keyboard, which I have bound to a little button on my keyboard, I have some special buttons on the left side. When I click that button, then it will stop broadcasting to all the windows. That means that now all my characters will not move together anymore. All the ones in the background will be standing still, and it will be like playing one game. This is the important button right here, toggle broadcasting mode. You need to find a button for this. And the other ones you can basically just leave off. Broadcasting mode starts on in all windows. This is a good thing as well, because when you launch up the game, let's say you launch up 3 accounts and boom boom boom, they're all at the login screen where you have to type in your password. Then you basically just click the password slot and you type in your password, because you will of course have the same password for all of them. So that's an easy way to log in fast on all your characters. Alright, now we made our team. Then you can click up here in character sets. You can see I already have my 4 barbarian one here. And then we have the new one we just made. Up here is basically just a guide on how to go around in the program. It's a little bad layout in my opinion. But down here is the actual script that you're using. You can see here we have the slots, the key maps, the window layout, repeater profile and game models. The only ones you're actually gonna be needing right here is slots. If we try click number 1, there we go. Then you can see you get some different windows here. The one I was speaking about before with the CPU right here. Here you can choose the cores that you want to run. And I have chosen to run all cores on all 3 of them. That means that they're all running the same CPUs, but you could try even it up a little bit. But always remember to keep them paired, like 3 and 4, 5 and 6, if you're hyper-threading on your CPU. And also in here you have to sort out your frame rate. The way that I run it right now is that I run 60 FPS in my main window and 19 FPS in the other windows. So number 1 is going to be your main barbarian. He's the one you will be playing from. He will have a higher frame rate, so it's easier to see what is going on and it's not lagging all over the place. Number 2, though, he will only run 19 no matter what. And the same with number 3. So basically these guys are running at a lower FPS than your main window. Also here, when you go into switching, we're on number 1 again. You can see this hotkey to switch to the character. Control Alt at 1. I actually use this hotkey that they already set up, but this is basically just a place where you can switch to the window. I have the same in number 2. It's the same combo, just with the letter 2, and the same with number 3. Now that we have set up, excuse me one second. Now that we've set up our performance, the switching and the hotkey and the FPS, we can go back up into the main menu up here and close the character sets. Now what we want to do is go down to key maps. This is basically the binds or the scripts that you can make for the actual program to execute. The ones that are interesting in here is in always on. You can see the one that we bound here, activate repeat. That's the one we bound to F4 in my instance. That's the one that will shut off the broadcast to all the other channels. You can open it up here and you can see the steps. This is going to be the first step of this one, and that means that when you click it once it will do this, and when you click it again it will do this. I changed my title a little bit. Usually it used to say broadcasting off. You can also completely remove the text of it, and you can decide which kind of windows it should hit. Where is that? Oh yeah, here we go. You can switch the target of it, but I wouldn't do any of this. Just leave all this until you get a little more experience with the program. But what you want to do right here is you want to take the activate repeat and you want to make a copy of it. Now we have a copy of the active repeat. I've already made mine, but I'm just gonna show you how to set it up. Of course you have to change the hotkey for it. But what you want to do here is go down to execute a step when the hotkey is pressed or released. Default is only on released, but this means that this will be a push to talk. Like you will hold in the button and then it will do whatever effect it has, but when you let it go again, it will be off. This means, well, I have mine on X here. This means that when you're in a window, let's say you're running around with 3 barbarians and you get a drop on the floor, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't want to pick up all kind of things with all of them. So then you just hold in X and you go and pick it up with the window you're in. That means that it will not broadcast to all the other windows while you're holding in this button, but as soon as you let go of it again, you will be broadcasting. So it's a really smart feature. You can see I renamed mine to X button because I have mine on X, so it's really close to put your finger on. I'll just delete this one again. But these are the 2 important ones in here. There is also people playing with a few of the other ones in here, but I have not really gotten into it, and I have not seen the use for it, not in Diablo at least. And this is basically all you gotta do in ISboxer. What you then want to do is go to save as, save it as some kind of a file here. I have some different ones here, different scripts. And then you want to export all to inner space. ISboxer is basically just a toolkit where you write the script, and inner space is a program that runs it for you. So when you've clicked export to inner space, it will pop this message for you, and that means you're good to go. Basically, I could probably run this one now, but I will run my own instead and show you guys how it all works. Here we will also get into the Finders Keepers, which is a loot program that I personally use right now. And we'll look a bit at the mechanics. Now you can see the first window is already up. I'm not pressing anything here. And it will go to launching the second one. This is the benefit of having a launch without the patch here in the start. And we'll just have to wait this one out. It takes a few seconds. The first time you load it up like this, it will take even longer, because then it has to write different game files. It's basically making a document for each of the games, so that it will remember your login name and your settings and all this stuff. So just be patient the first time you fire up one of your Diablo 3 teams. It can take a little while. Alright, we're good to go. Now, as I told you before, you know, I have my button on F4. You can see I press it now. It says broadcasting off. Okay, so that means that it was starting on. What I do here, I basically just go in my tab right here and I write in my password. Now you can see if I switch between my accounts by using the Control Alt 1, 2, 3 and 4, you can see they have all written the password. What I gotta do is just click login, and they are all logging in. Right, I'm nearly good to go here. Here's another cool feature of the 1.08 patch. Right now I'm holding in the X button so that I'm not broadcasting on all the other accounts, because right now I want to form my party. So I'm holding in my X button here, inviting all my guys. And I can let go of it again. Now you can see they all got the invite here. Now I'm not gonna press anything, not the X button, but I will only press the mouse button right below the C here, because I know that is where the button is. And you can see they all accept the party. And there we go. Now another important thing that you should look into getting, but this is a little bit more advanced, but we'll talk you through. You can see that I can control my characters from my main screen. I'm not switching over to control them. I'm doing it from my main screen. It's basically so that you can group them up, and that is also why I have the stupid names. I'll explain that to you. Let's go over to this guy. He's right here. And when you open up the menu, you can go into key bindings. You'll scroll down a little bit and you'll find the key saying move. And this guy, he is named E, you know, and I bound the move button to E. That means that every time that I press E on the keyboard, this guy, he's moving. So when I'm running around like this and I can see, oh, one guy, he's out, that is E, I just press E on the keyboard and he comes back in again. And the same with V. He is V on the keyboard. I couldn't rename my last guy for some reason, but I wanted to make him Q. I use QVE for moving my characters around individually. And if it's my main account, I just hold in X, as told before. And you can also do that if you switch the window to go pick up some loot on one of the other guys. Just hold in X. Now that I have covered the basics of this, we can look a bit at the options here. This is basically the video options I run right now. You can see that I'm testing it a bit with running the in-game FPS limiter. But I think the one in ISboxer works just as well as this one. You can see I run a little higher FPS on all of them. But basically I put all my settings to low FX, and I put the letterbox because I'm running in a lower resolution than my screen can actually take. Basically just to get less lag. But the letterbox will display it in a widescreen aspect. And that is basically it. Yeah, okay, on the other guys I do not have the damage numbers or anything in here to try avoid getting the lag. So these guys have this one though. Basically only my main guy, he should have all these. There we go. That is basically it for in-game. Okay, I will put a link in the description for Finders Keepers. Let's find mine, I have so many things here. This is the folder you will get when you download Finders Keepers, which is a loot alert. In here in sounds you can see I have put in a few custom sounds. The only one that is there when you get it is this one, sound. But you can make your own sounds in the different kind of programs. I'll give you a link to a good program that I use to make mine just by recording my own voice, but you can also record files or import other files, whatever you want to. What you want to do first of all, run as administrator. Rule number 1. This will pop up this. I have an update, but I don't need that one. You can see here, basically when you start out you will have no filters right here. I think you have one filter. But what you want to do is go into add item, give it some kind of a name, select the quality, the level, what kind of sound you want to play it, and which items will activate the sound. In here you can put in the multiboxing sounds if you have different sounds. For example, I have different sounds for my rings. I can show it to you guys right here. See ring 1 and ring 2, ring 3, ring 4. They all have a different sound when rare rings or amulets drop, so I know which window to look in. That's also really beneficial. And the reason they say ring 1 is because that's my main. Ring 2 is always Control, Alt and 2 on my keyboard. So I know exactly what to press when I get the ring 2 sound in my Finders Keepers. Let's see if I have anything else interesting here. No, that is my legendary. I have all legendaries activated with the same sound on all of them. Now, the thing that people have a little trouble with in here in Finders Keepers is getting the demonic essences. What you want to do is go to miscellaneous, go into name filters and click on demonic essence. And in here you can put in your sound files if you want a custom sound file for it. But it's right here guys, and there's all kind of other things here if you're interested in these. Also the item alert is a little interesting. I can't show you guys it on here for some reason, but every time a legendary drops for me I get a little pop-up window out here. And that's the option right here. It will pop up and saying exactly what legendary it is. The only thing that is important here is that you go in here in the multiboxing settings, and you have to go in your processes and name the processes. ISboxer will always call the windows IS1, and I can show it to you guys right here. IS1, IS2, IS3, IS4. So basically, you really need to write in the process name. This is where many people fail, and that will make the program not work. And then you give it the character name. When you've done this, click this one, and click this one here. Then you will get an updated window here saying exactly what legendary is dropping. Like if it's a legendary ring, it will tell you if it's Unity or Stone of Jordan. It will tell you on which character it dropped, everything. Another cool feature is this one. Disable in town. I love this one because when I'm doing giveaways, sometimes I'm dropping 20 legendaries on the floor, and if I had to hear the sound 4 times per each legendary because I have 4 characters, I would go completely insane and I would probably only have 2 viewers. So that is really important. Another cool feature of the program is statistics. In here you can track your legendaries and your drop rates. Basically everything. Oh my god, if I picked up all the essences I found, damn, I would have a lot. But I'm only using the legendary tracker, then I can always go back and see what kind of legendaries I found. I'm not sure if it tracks everything, but it tracks something at least. You can see right here, my last session yesterday, 3 hours and 28 minutes, I found 92 legendaries. This program does take a little toll on your CPU, I gotta admit it. And I wish it was a little better made, but the item tracker and statistics, it's an okay feature and you could use it if you want to, but that is not that important. Now that I have taken you through the most important features here, we can also look at these macros, for example. You know, if you're using a CM wizard, this could be really helpful. You know, you can basically just make a macro right here to fire off all your spamming buttons, but I don't use these macros. I do it the hard way. Well, that is basically it. I hope you enjoyed my first tutorial video here on how to set up your multiboxing, and if you got any questions, feel free to ask me. Oh, a last reminder that is really important. Resolution, you gotta keep the same on all of them, but I already showed you this. And the rest is pretty much just trial and error. You gotta go in there and play the game a bit, get used to it, and remember to start ISbox. Now you can see I can use my V button here to group them up again. This is basically it. I'm lagging a bit because I have all kind of windows open here. Sorry about that.
Ring 3.
There you can see ring 3. That means I need to switch to window number 3 and pick up the ring. I made those sounds myself. I just toned down the tone of it so I sound like a girl or Japanese schoolboy. I'm not really doing anything thoroughly right now. This is how I run my barbarians.
Ring 1.
That is on 1. Right there. And I want to show you the scenario. If one of you guys die, I'll just suicide one of them. If I can even. I don't think I can kill him actually. Yo, there we go. Now you can see I have one guy that is a problem many multiboxers will come into. What you want to do is run your rend when you're playing barbarians. Run into a group of monsters, use your rend, because then you will lifesteal. You will go and rend again, go on your guy who just died, and you can port him down again. And you're good to go. That will take a little practice. I did that a lot of times. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as I said, just type if you have any questions. I will put all the links needed in below, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you guys.